Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back, everybody, to my fourth episode of the Arma 3 Milsim video series. As always, if you haven't seen the first couple videos, I will link them for you down in the description below so you can catch up on the different topics that have been covered so far over this series. So, we are going to continue to look at the Fireteam level, and today we will focus on the Automatic Rifleman. Now, the Automatic Rifleman, or AR for short, is the main firepower of the Fireteam. He holds the light machine gun, which in Spearhead's current deployment is actually the M249 SAW, which stands for Squad Automatic Weapon. As you may have already guessed, the AR's role is to lay down suppressive fire onto enemy positions, hoping to either kill off the enemy forces or at least force them to keep their heads down while friendly units flank and destroy. The AR holds just as much firepower as three standard riflemen, and this is why he was always placed on the heavy side of any formation if there is one. This is to keep the firepower balanced, because he can keep up the fire rate on one side of the formation by himself, and generally the remaining members of the fire team can take care of the opposite side. An AR's responsibility is also to use his tracers to direct fire and mark targets. He can effectively direct others onto the enemy by following tracers. Even those who are out of earshot or radio comms will see the AR laying down fire to a certain area, which will help them locate the enemy by following his tracers in. The AR carries the M249 SAW. It is an area attack weapon. Due to the recoil, the weapon won't effectively hit a single point like an M4, but rather the spread from those rounds is what you want to use to engage the target. This is important for the AR to realize this, as it's a step away from the traditional thought of engaging individual point targets, and instead you're using a wide area to engage targets, similar to the use of a 40mm grenade. You need to utilize that two-dimensional oval on the ground where the rounds are impacting at, called the beaten zone, and also utilize the cone of fire, the path the bullet takes from the barrel to the beaten zone. Sights such as the M145 machine gun optic depict this shape on the optic itself, leaving an open area at each range to give a visual representation of the beaten zone at that range. The AR should utilize this method to get as many targets within their beaten zone as possible, and to suppress as many enemies as possible. This will allow the rest of your fire team to accurately put down shots onto the enemy without as much fear of getting shot themselves, as the largest force of the enemy is either being suppressed or killed by the AR's fire. One thing that many inexperienced ARs may forget is to use their bipods. As you can see here, there's a big difference in recoil and accuracy for the AR when not using the bipod compared to using the bipod. Simply pressing C will allow you to deploy that bipod and therefore stabilize your shots. This is especially important for the M249, which spits out so many rounds per second it can be hard to keep your aim on the target at all times. And this brings us on to the fire rates as an automatic rifleman. I have found that this is knowledge that not many ARs may know about, and it is important every AR understands the different rates of fire and how or when to use them. Generally, there are three types of fire rates: sustained, rapid, and cyclic. Sustained fire rate is when you fire roughly 5 to 6 rounds every 3 to 4 seconds. You will notice one tracer per burst, which is an easy way to keep track of your fire rate, as tracers fire every 5 rounds. By keeping this fire rate up consistently, you average about 100 rounds per minute, and if you keep this up, you would have to change the weapon's barrel after 10 minutes due to overheating. Rapid fire rate is slightly higher, averaging 7 to 10 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. With this fire rate, you'll notice 2 tracers per burst. Keep up this rapid fire rate and you'll go through 200 rounds per minute and require a barrel change of every 5 minutes, double the rate of fire for sustained. And finally, you have cyclic rate of fire. This is simply holding down the trigger. You will go through 600 to 800 rounds per minute and require a barrel change every minute, because you will quickly overheat your barrel spitting out that many rounds. I would highly advise against holding down a cyclic rate of fire unless necessary. It burns through your ammunition very quickly and does not provide much accuracy. Now let's talk about the AR's loadout and gear that he should be carrying. Simply put, you want to dump everything but your machine gun and ammunition. Your primary job is to shoot, shoot, shoot. There is no need to worry about carrying anything extra that might help you, but guarantee weigh you down. And you will already be weighed down quite a lot by your gun and ammunition, so you want to get rid of anything that isn't of utmost importance. Generally, you want to carry anywhere between 800 to 1200 rounds depending on the mission and what your team leader asks of you. This would equate to a 200 round bag already loaded up onto the weapon, and 3 more 200 round bags minimum on your vest or your backpack. As you can see here, you want to carry only the most minimum and basic medical supplies. Your squad or platoon medic can help patch you up when you need it, or your fellow fireteam members can pass the extra bandages in a pinch, so you don't have to worry too much about medical supplies. You'll also want to drop your pistol, grenades, and spare barrel, as they will all be generally useless to you. As I mentioned earlier with the fire rates, you fire usually 800 to 1000 rounds before a barrel change is required. This also equates to all the ammunition in your inventory, so you really don't need to carry an extra barrel. All in all, this should bring your weight to roughly 75 pounds, which is a decent weight that is a good balance between carrying the necessary equipment and giving you enough stamina to run or move when you need to without quickly running out of breath. So, that is all you really need to know about the automatic rifleman. As long as you remember to utilize your firepower to keep the enemy's heads down and direct friendly fire towards enemies using your tracers, you will be reliable and successful as an AR. This concludes the video and also the focus on Fireteam members. Those of you who can be keeping track will notice that I have purposely left out talking about the team leader. This is because the team leader spot requires a lot to learn about and simply too much for me to put into one video. If you are hoping to learn a little something about being a team leader, don't worry, because a good team leader should have extensive knowledge about his fireteam members, each of their roles and responsibilities, and what they are capable of. So simply by watching these past 3 to 4 videos, you are already one step closer to becoming a more reliable and successful fireteam leader. From here on out, I'll be going over a range of different topics, ranging from formations, vehicle convoy operations, map reading and land navigation, and a whole lot more. So stay tuned for more Milsim information. And as always, if you enjoy this type of content, please let me know in the comments below, or if you have some criticism about the videos, I also welcome feedback. Alright, that's it for this episode. See you guys next time.